And now, Giants Sports Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Eric and Glenn.
We're talking Giants every day.
Oh, now you show up.
From a Covey Cove to
now
the
you
Oracle
show
Park
up.
Lights.
Come on, man.
Eric and Glenn keep
Come on,
the
man.
fire burning bright, fighting for the glory, no matter what it costs us. Breaking down the moments from the wins to the losses. Giant Sports Talk, we're here for the ride. Eric and Glenn with the fan base pride. Talking dreams, will they contend? But we'll back the Giants till the very end. Let's go, Giants! Yes, yes, yes! Oh! Eric and Glenn breaking it down, all Giants all the time.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Giant Sports Talk Live here. Game 3, San Francisco Giants against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Giants, they don't come out ahead on this one. They get shut out 4-0 behind some amazing pitching by Shohei Ohtani. He went out there. Guy is having a hell of a season on the mound. So, hey, what are you going to do? Giants had an opportunity. We're going to talk. There's a couple of things we need to talk about here. Robbie Ray, he wasn't all that good. Base running. Yeesh. And if you guys, I don't think it's fair, but we could talk about Eldridge. I think you guys know where I stand on it, but since we're going to be seeing him more often than not, we could talk about Eldridge too. So we'll see what is up. Again, it's still too soon to. I'll just go ahead and just put out this disclaimer. It's still too early, but again, it was kind of ugly today. Anyways, Giants lose. Glenn, what'd you think of the game today?
I really thought today's game was kind of bland. It wasn't a very exciting game. Either 9 innings of, but I looked at the lines early this morning in this game. How favorite the Dodgers were, heavy favorites. I mean, we all knew coming into this series this would be a tough game to win anyway.
Oh yeah.
And I think the odds makers were just looking at not today's game. They were looking at 2 weeks ago. How tough is it to beat Ohtani twice? Back to back. You know, we got the job done at Oracle Park, a game actually you and I were at, Eric. We were watching that one in the rain. Ohtani started.
No, that was Yamamoto. We saw that. That was Yamamoto. We actually saw.
I saw Ohtani anyway the next day.
You saw Ohtani the next day, yeah.
So anyway, I thought today's game was what it is. I thought we saw more of what the Giants are, a team that doesn't hit well, certainly doesn't run the bases well. Hello, Willie. Hi, Willie. Hi, Willie. Come back, Willie. Stay, Willie. Just one of the many. I mean, we're just calling him out tonight. It could be anybody in this club. I was really hoping at the end that we would get a chance to see Schmidt come up, his hot bat, chance to get back into the game. But, good old Chapman to close it out there with a third call strike there. I don't have any notes on this one, Eric. It's just kind of a ho-hum, kind of a boring game for me to watch. I thought Ohtani was on his game.
Yeah, he was.
They giving up the back-to-back bombs. I thought, this could be it right here. Because, again, we were lucky. We scored a number of runs back-to-back games. But, again, we're right back to it. You score runs and then have we been shut out more than any other club?
I think we have 8 times. My God.
8 times already? That just tells you the lack of consistency. And, I said it last night. I was kind of grumpy last night. I said that if it's not the top half of the lineup, then you got to hope the back end. But far too often, it's no one. No one. And I made a comment to someone earlier tonight. We were watching the game, and I had to shut it off, actually. But so they texted me, and we were talking about our good friend, Old Man Devers. Old Man Devers. You see him swinging like the Eldridge pitches. He's swinging to get things that are my problem with him again tonight is if he's going to strike out and be this lackluster at the plate, that many strikeouts, you've got to be a dominant power hitter. You can handle all these strikeouts and the terrible at-bats. If he had 14 home runs now, it'd be a different story. But I don't understand. Lou, why are they playing these guys every day? I don't understand it. Again, I think that they have control rather than Tony having control. He's got to take the bull by the horns. He's a major league manager. You got to stick. I don't care what you're paying them. You got to put the best product in the field. And if they're not producing, put someone in who can. Again, I would like to see Schmidt get his at-bats tonight. And I will make a comment later in the show on Bryce Eldridge. But Lou, what did you think?
Well, like all great pitchers, you got to get them early. And when Eldridge didn't come through in the first, I was like, why are they batting in fifth? It was over. I mean, that was the one shot I thought the Giants really had. And, you put Eldridge in a tough spot against a pitcher that, has 8 pitches. It happens. Eldridge was overwhelmed. I also thought every time Eldridge came up, I don't know if you guys noticed it, there was an ad behind him for Eldridge insurance in L.A., so you had Eldridge batting and then Eldridge logo behind him, which I thought was pretty unique. But, overall, I mean, I can't really get upset at Devers. He's just become sort of.
He had 2 hits today.
2 hits today.
Almost had a home run.
He struck out twice. And I think his problem is when he swings, he swung at a pitch where literally I think he was on his right knee when he swung. He swung so hard when he missed it. But, I think tonight he thought, hey, I got to get the ball. I got to hit it out.
No one else was doing anything. He's the only one. He had 2 of the 4 hits the Giants had, right? They have 5 hits.
2 of the 6. I mean, Adames got one late. A rise, like usual, comes up.
Had 2.
I also didn't really like where the Giants really needed something. I don't understand Tony V again. He had Casey, who was going to pinch hit for Gilbert, but it wasn't the tie part of the game. It was like the last out. Trying to keep the rally going in the ninth. The game was over by then. I also wanted to comment one thing is I've been pretty tough on the Dodgers bullpen. I don't know who that guy was that came in tonight. Oh, my God. That guy hurt. I've never heard of him. But that guy, his stuff was filthy. So at least
Devers got to him, but no one else did.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that guy was pretty filthy. So let's just do that hurt. But overall, again, hey, we won the first 2. I just figured tonight with Ohtani, it was going to be tough to beat him 3 games in a row. And I think Glenn brings up a good point. It's easy to beat Ohtani once. Twice, you're really asking for it, especially where he has an ERA below 1. And the Giants just, went up against a better pitcher. So you got to give Ohtani credit. And I think tonight was sort of the thing because he wasn't hitting. The Giants were saying, oh, my God, this guy can pitch and hit. Because if I remember right, when they were back at Oracle, he was doing both. I think they were more like star facing, like, oh, my God, we can't hit this guy 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning. And they got caught up, But, we're going to talk more about Eldridge. I do want to say one thing. I thought it was nice to see Tristan Beck back. Good stuff. He pitched 2 innings. He had a couple balls that one went right off his foot, went to short. And then the guys, it's amazing. 24 hours ago, I tried to bring up Eldridge and people thought I was nuts. And I see that Dred Scott, I assume he's sort of making fun. Eldridge is clearly better than Nick Kurtz. Come on, guys.
No.
We don't need to talk about that.
That's not what's going on. There's sarcasm going on in the chat.
Okay, that's what I figured.
They're talking amongst themselves.
Okay,
yeah.
I get caught up in that too.
Yeah.
Nick Kurtz, if he was on our
Easy.
team, would be the best player we had. So don't compare these two. What one is, first of all, has been up here a while, is a proven major leaguer. The other one we're still trying to figure out. So, that's all I wanted to say. But you know what? Overall, I'm just more upset that we didn't score. When you get shut out 8 times out of 42 games, that's a problem. But I've been saying it a while. Let me put it this way: let's put this behind us. Look forward to tomorrow. I don't want the Giants to lose the last two, because then we split the series. When you get the first two, you have a chance to win it. All you got to do is one more game, and that's what I want to see. I want the Giants to bounce back tomorrow. We have Roop going, but overall, I was a little frustrated with Ray. It's hard. It's hard to win when you're on the road and you give up back-to-back homers. And this is something that Eric and Glenn always say. You pitched four in the third innings, and you got taken out at 94 pitches. 94 pitches. So our starters need to get better. And I'll lend it right back to you guys.
You know what, Lou? I might go on the back of what Lou's talking about. Lou, you're going to like this. I was listening to 95.7 today. All right. So Lou and I have our thoughts on Eldridge, where he should be playing, when he should be playing, how he should be playing, if he should even be playing. I don't even think he should be up here. And, people will come every night. You know this, Eric, in the chat. Oh, my God, he's the superstar. Well, former Major League Baseball, one of the better executives, Jim Bowden, he had some thoughts.
I heard it.
On the Giants today.
Bryce Eldridge should be playing first base in AAA every day. He should be taking 200 ground balls every day down there and hitting and being out there every game. And never take a game off and develop him and get him ready. You don't bring a top prospect to the big leagues and have him sit. If you're going to bring him to the big leagues, then play him every day. He's not ready for the big leagues. You need to develop him more. So put him in AAA, work on the defense. If first base is going to be his long-term position, then keep working on that defense to get improving. Let him keep improving on the bat. You never take a young player like that and have him be a pinch hitter. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. And if you want to look at whose responsibility is it, it's Buster Posey and Zach Manassian, who shouldn't have him in the big leagues if the manager is going to use him in this role. If this is the role Tony Vitello is going to use him, then he cannot be there, and you got to option him out. Period.
Don't disagree.
Think he summed it up. I don't know what they're doing with him.
Who knows? I don't know.
And all I could think of when I heard that earlier today, and I went back and got the clip, all I could think of was the old line, the old adage, pick a lane. I don't think this truly is a scenario of the Giants not picking a lane. Well, we got to call up our young superstar, but we're not going to play him. What are you doing? Pick your lane. Are we going to keep going with Chapman and Devers and Adames and all the, just guys who aren't hitting? We only have one hitter on this team, maybe two. I thought Schmidt's been swinging a good bat, and Arise is elite. Mm-hmm. Again, he doesn't care if there's two strikes. He could come up every night. He doesn't care. Okay, I'll take a mulligan. I'm down 2 strikes, stepping into the box. He doesn't care. He still hit 300.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
Guy is a pro. But the rest of our team is so lackluster. We play. I know in baseball, you're either too young or you're too old. Even at 30, you're too old.
That's ridiculous.
This team just plays like an old team to me. It just plays old. I want young. I want upstart. Like I was watching highlights tonight of the again, broken record here, but the games I do watch and I see Tampa play, exciting ball team. The A's, exciting. Cardinals, exciting. Youth, let them grow. If you're going to play Eldridge, and play all the young, bring up all your good talent in the minors. That's the route you're going. But do one or the other here. I'm just tired.
And it's coming.
Or getting his few at bat. He's not ready. I'm looking at the swings. He is just not ready.
The youth is coming. Unfortunately, they're just not at that point to come up to the big leagues. The two youngest guys, Luis Hernandez and Josué Gonzalez, had an incredible night of baseball down in Arizona. The Giants equivalent to the ACL and then the Dodgers equivalent to the ACL, they faced off against each other. And the Giants version beat the Dodgers version 29-2 or something.
Hello.
Luis Hernandez, the guy that they just signed over this last summer, went 5 for 5. And then also drew a walk. Josué Gonzalez went 3 for 3 and had 3 walks. I mean, the guys were just, and again, these guys are very young. We're only talking ACL, but they are very much exceeding expectations down in the ACL. And I would not be surprised if you see them up in San Jose by the end of the year. Would not be surprised at all.
The thing I think that people are missing, Eric, and I thought of it again after I was finished. I had to go and wrap up my day because I'm back on the radio every morning at 6 a.m. So here it'll be 2 a.m. soon. It'll be time for me to, I don't even know why I bother going to bed. With a face like this, good thing I'm in radio. Come on. But the problem is a number of shows, including ours, everybody, got caught up in the moment. Oh, my God, we beat the Dodgers twice. Then all of a sudden we're going to win 88 games. I heard one. I heard we're back on pace for an 88-win season. Are you freaking ludicrous? Want to lose favorite artists, musical artists. They're ludicrous. Hey, I think the problem that people are just not clued into is we can climb even if we get to 500, Eric. The problem is with this lineup, the way it is constructed now, if we can march toward 500, what happens toward the trade deadline when Arise is gone and Ray is gone? And you're in a fantasy land. You're in a fantasy land playing now for the playoffs and a big run, 88 wins. It ain't happening. Anybody want to bet on that? I'll take your money.
88. Come on, 88 wins. I'm not going to look. Hey, I'm optimistic, but I'm not that damn optimistic. But hey, before we go, because we're kind of going already in some other. I'm going to stick with what happened today, and then we'll get to more into Eldridge. And there's another topic we need to talk about too. Jesus Rodriguez behind the plate. Good God, it was bad today. I mean, when you got Freddie Freeman stealing a bag on you. I mean, we're talking Freddie Freeman, and that was terrible.
What do you want? Do you want the bat in there like I do?
And that's the thing.
I want Bailey's defense. Which do you
want? No. I hear you.
I'll take Rodriguez and Susak any day.
We'll have to see how. There's going to have to be some decision making because Susak is coming up soon. All right, here let's do tail the tape.
And now, today's Giants in Review on Giants Sports Talk Live.
Drive into center field.
Got him.
All right, there it is. Tail the tape. Giants lose 4-0. Again, another shutout, as Lou said, the 8th shutout of the year. And we're only on May 13th. Whew. That's rough, man. Giants are 18-25. Dodgers are now 25-18. Giants, 0 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Dodgers, 4 runs on 9 hits with 1 error. Winner is Ohtani. Look at that ERA, 0.82. Whew. Ray is now 3-5, still with the 3 ERA, but he did not look good today. Lineup, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Lee, 0-4. Arias had 2 hits, which was nice. Ramos, 0-4. Devers was 2-4. That was nice. Again, he almost hit one out of the park. At the end of the game there in the 9th inning, it hit at the bottom of the wall a little bit longer. It would have been a home run. Eldridge was 0-4 with 3 strikeouts. Adames 1-for-4 with 2 strikeouts. Chapman 1-for-4 with 2 strikeouts. The strikeout ending the game as well. Gilbert was 0-4. Rodriguez was 0-4. 0-for-7 with runners in scoring position. They ain't getting it done. Ray, this is not good, man. You can't go 4 2/3, man. Gave up 7 hits, 3 earned. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 long ball, back-to-backs. What was it? The 9-hole hitter. Who the hell was he? Ezequiel is somebody. Espinal. Who the hell's that? He cranks a home run, and then who led? Oh no, it wasn't that. Who was it that? It was who led off?
Betts.
Mookie Betts hit the other home run. Peguero came in for an inning and a third, had 1 walk. And then Beck had 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, but no runs. So the bullpen did its job today. Starting pitching, not so much. Just didn't get it done. But come on. You're going up against Ohtani. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter which team it is. It could be the Giants, it could be the Atlanta Braves. Ohtani is just a damn good pitcher right now. And look, when you're sporting a sub-1 ERA and we're here, like I said, May 13th, that means he's having a pretty damn good year. And that guy was locating everywhere. And that the slider and the splitter and the curveball, And not to mention a 98-mile-per-hour fastball that can ride up in the zone. I mean, my gosh, you're just going to have to be ready. And if you're not, well, it's going to be a long day. And the Giants were doing well in the beginning. You know, they were getting them into deep counts. You had them on the ropes, and here we go. Had them on the ropes in the 7th inning. And I don't understand. Can someone explain to me what the hell Willy Adames was doing at second base? They got 2 hits, right? Only 1 out. So you're starting to beat up on Ohtani. You're getting up against the ropes. You're starting to put something together. Gilbert hits a long fly ball to left center. And Willy Adames is at third base and is not coming back to the bag because the ball was not hit out. It was a deep fly ball. It was what middle of the warning track approximately. Pages makes the catch, and he lobbed it to second base. Lobbed it. So what the hell's going on here? Let me show you the clip that I got here.
I think he thought there were 2 outs.
But that doesn't make sense because your third base coach needs to tell you that.
I agree.
If he's at third base, Borg has to tell him, get back. You're supposed to go halfway. If it's a fly ball, the runner goes halfway. You watch to see if he's going to catch the ball. If he catches the ball, you go back to your base. If it gets over his head or if it goes over the wall, well, then you run home or jog home. What is he doing? Borg, and look, I don't know because the footage doesn't show what Borg is doing, but Borg was right there because he had to be at third base. Here, I'll show you the clip. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to have the sound off so we don't get tagged. Here we go. Boom. There it goes. Fly ball. He's going back. And there, did you see where Adames was? Look where he is.
You barely see him in the photo there.
Look, he's looking at third base.
He's already
not
at
looking
third
back.
base.
He's not even looking. He's not looking over his shoulder to see what's going on.
He's already at third.
And he's at this particular time, he's already at third. Borg should be telling him, you got to get back, dude. What the hell are you doing? And look how much time. Look how much time this is. And look at this. Look, where's Adames? He's nowhere. He just Betts just lobs it because no one's there. He catches it, and then at the end, there's Willy coming from third base. What are we doing here, man?
Yeah, I think and what's amazing is it's
we'll
always surrounding second base. Every time. All these things are when they go past second. Yeah.
What is he doing? He should have not been running to third base. And Borg should have been yelling at him, get back. And it killed the rally. And it killed the rally. So you went from 2 men on with 1 out to ending the damn inning by getting freaking doubled up. I don't get it.
Little league ball, Eric.
I don't get it. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous, man. What? You can't do that. It could have changed the entire outcome of the game, man.
What do I call it, Lou? Pissing away runs, man.
Yeah, you are. And what you just can't do that. And look, I don't know who it is. I'm not here to cast blame, but what's going on? Adames should have known better. Your third base coach should be backing you up saying, hey, dude, he's catching the ball. Get back to second base.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't listen, I mean, and I'm getting tired. You know what's getting really old on me is when I watch the game. How many times do I see Devers and it's always the bat's fault. And I mean, Ramos, if he could hit as good as he is at smashing the mouth guard off his helmet, I mean, the frustrations are so bad. Come on, just hit the ball. Come on. And when you do the tail of the tape, I didn't even think it was really necessary tonight. You said Devers had 2 hits and Adames had 2 hits, or Arise had 2 hits. Does it even really matter? If you put goose eggs up, you don't get them in. It doesn't matter. This team is so anemic, aren't they? Anemic at the plate.
All right, here we go. We got some more on this.
They're not very good at manufacturing runs. That's a problem, right? They don't bunt. They bunt. Is anybody on this team able to bunt?
Hey, the first game of the series, they did that. You're talking about they bunted. they were manufacturing runs. And then yesterday they were hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And
but they only do that for the first couple of weeks. Last year, I was so excited because, oh my God, you and I were doing cartwheels, Eric, when we thought opening day. Do you remember opening day last year? The big at-bat from Wilmer Flores.
Yeah.
And they won. They moved guys from first to third in that game. They were using speed. They had a great preseason. This year, great preseason. But again, what's the problem? What's the thing that's a factor when you look at preseason? Once the season begins, all these guys you're letting play in the preseason are all gone or in the minor leagues. So preseason is not a true representation of what kind of team you're going to have. And what happens? They have a great preseason, but then we get all the old guys back and, bring in the old guard. And here we go. Same old, 500 baseball. And not even that.
Here's more clarification on what Adames is saying. Said he lost track of the outs. That happens. I get it. But again, he says a mistake that can't happen in a game. It's on me. One of the worst things that I could do on the field. Then Vitello said he believes Adames indeed misread how many outs there were. Asked about the possibility of resting Adames tomorrow. We talked about it. Nothing determined yet on the overall base running this year. We just need to get better at it. Look.
No shit, Sherlock.
Here's the problem, though, guys. I mean, this has been a problem with the Giants for the last 2 years with two totally different coaching staffs. So what is going on? I mean, Eric, you just can't do that. Yeah, go for it.
Eric, can I say something? Growing up and when you see college games, I'm going to give you an example. Hey, Eric, there's only one out. Watch me if there's a ball, all right? Hey, Glenn, you're at first, okay? When you surround second, that's how third base coaches usually do it. I don't understand, and that might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why? Because it was in English? He misread how many outs there were? Come on. It's right there. It says 1, 2, or 3. He misread it. That's like he doesn't read English. Well, then that's a horrible excuse. And then Tony V says, again, the old slap on the wrist. Hold on. Well, we might give him a day tomorrow, but we're not sure yet. We'll let you know. Okay? This has happened constantly. And, Eric, you brought up a point that's now year 2. I'm not sure who is the coach that teaches these guys. I don't know.
It's a whole new staff.
Whole new staff. So I don't know whose responsibility. I don't know that. But surrounding second, this has happened now at least 6 or 7 times. It happened to Casey 2 nights in a row. It's happened to Ramos. Now it's happened to Adames. Something has to be done. I don't care that it's only game 45. Then do me a favor. Switch coaches. Third base coach goes to first goes to third. But they got to start treating these guys like they're 8 years old. And what I mean is not badmouth them, but just remind them, hey, one out. All right, you're watching me. That's what a third base coach does. When I go to the games, I never hear the coaches say anything. And it's almost like we assume these guys know, but it's happening over and over and over. And, the Giants tonight were down 4-0, so it wasn't that big of a play. It was more of an embarrassment. But when Casey had it happen 2 nights in a row, one of those games, it was a 1-run game. Again, last year, the Giants missed the playoffs by 3 games. And this is a daily, weekly occurrence that we bring this up. And I think what it's going to be is maybe it's not the third base coach. It's just the mental part of these guys. Because I think we got to start blaming these players where they're what would be the right word? I mean, they know how to play the game and the other thing is you can't really blame the coach because it's happened to different players. Yeah. Guys that maybe speak English. I assume Casey speaks English, so you can't use that. But, this is where Tony V and maybe Buster has to sit down and goes, guys, this is ridiculous. This is happening a lot. This cannot happen. And make rules. Remember the Giants in the early days used to have a thing called the kangaroo court.
Kangaroo court.
Make dumb mistakes, and they'd be fined $25 or $100. You got to do something, and then you got to be held responsible. Because, Adames, you're the highest paid Giant. And your excuse is you misread how many outs there were. And let me just sort of tell you, there are, at least Dodger Stadium, and I assume it's the same at Oracle, they probably have it 9 different ways of, outs.
Oh, it's all over the place.
All over
The
the
outs
place.
are all over the ballpark,
all over
man.
the place.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse for that. This is the major leagues, and it's the point where and the reason why I say this is over the weekend, I watched the banana ball, right? And they bring it up. All right, there's 2 outs. How are we going to score this run? We got to do something. They're constantly talking. We have to be better because, as we know, our team isn't deep enough to win just on our ability and a few mistakes a game. We can't do that. And, this is probably 3 straight weeks where we've spoken about the same situation. And if Buster and Tony V want to make this year and want to make it competitive, they got it. Listen, we can't cut down the strikeouts, but you got to be able to cut down these running bonehead moves. I speak
And
a
here's the
lot.
thing.
Lou, I think you nailed it. The only thing you nailed it, Lou. But the only thing I think it was just a slip of the tongue. I'll give you credit because I think it was a slip of the tongue. You used the term, who's teaching these guys? These guys shouldn't have to be taught this. This is fundamental baseball, Lou.
There you go. And this is where I'm going to go with this. Alive says this team lacks discipline and fundamentals. Wasn't this supposed to have solved in the offseason when they hired Tony Vitello and company? Isn't that what we continually heard? Wasn't that the mantra? Team's going to get back to fundamentals. Tony Vitello is going to bring what he does in college, and he's going to coach this team up.
I think that would be the case if
you
he could develop a team,
right?
Eric. But I think he's going to have a difficulty developing veteran players.
This is the thing, but it's not just that. It's you got to also be able to have communication. If your coaches aren't communicating, and that's the thing. I don't know if there was any communication between Borg and Adames, because I would guess that Borg probably saw, hey, that ball's probably not going out. So did he say anything to Adames? Now, Adames is owning it, and that's okay. All right, he's the player. He should have known better than just to take off running. So he didn't have to. Borg should have never been involved in this, right? Adames should have known how many outs there were and then retreated back to second base.
But you know what,
he was already at third base. If he was already at third base, then Borg should have said, Adames, get the hell back, dude. You got to be able to do that. And if you're not going to do that, well, you're not doing your job as a coach. Now, again, I'm not putting it on the coach. I'm just saying there is a breakdown in different levels here. The biggest, of course, is Willy Adames. So you can't.
You guys are right on.
It's just, it sucks because how many times have we seen this baseball, the way it's being played, has just been embarrassing. And right, at the least, the optics look just bad. It's like, what are we doing? Are we a professional baseball club here? And I hate that. I don't want to have to say that because look, it's the San Francisco Giants, man. And
the fan base are quick to say if they had thrown it away, oh, the ball bounced and he had gotten back to second. You know what the fan base would do? What has been the trend? Well, he got back. It's okay. Yeah. It's not okay. Sunday, he scored. It's okay. It's not okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something, Glenn, on something. The San Francisco Giants fan base they will welcome you back with open arms. You do one good game, hey, come on back. Very forgiving, right? They'll get after you, right? We'll get after them here for this bad baseball. But as soon as they turn that corner, it's
God, Eric, we see that last night, right? You win a ball, you win a ball game, and it's like we're back 88 wins.
No, we see, but that's the thing. Am I excited that we're winning? Yes. But am I saying that, does this mean they're going to go out there and win the pennant? No.
No, you got to live in reality.
You take it game by game.
We live in a fantasy world.
Yeah, correct.
We live in a fantasy world.
Right. I will point out that I think I'm pretty good. I think I'll call
out that word you came up with last year, Eric. I like the that famous
recency
word you brought up. Recency bias.
Yeah.
We lose 10 in a row, and we won tonight. No, we're back.
Glenn, I said this before the season started. Everybody will lose their absolute minds on every single game, but look, we do a post game, so you kind of have to analyze that game, but you have to take it in totality over a week, over a month, over a season, and then you get the bigger picture. But that's just the way it is, man. It is, and it stinks. Now to go to Jesus Rodriguez, you know what? Would not be surprised, guys, if Jesus Rodriguez gets optioned back to AAA. When Susac comes up, I think he's going to go back because Eric Haas, he's been doing a pretty good job behind the plate.
Well, then why hasn't he been playing? I think it'll be Haas who goes down. I think Rodriguez is playing.
Problem is he has no more options.
You can't play Eldridge every day, but you can play Rodriguez every day.
There we go.
I don't think so.
Has no options. And if you give up Haas, he becomes a free agent and someone's going to pick him up. And I don't think the Giants are going to afford to pick him up. So it's either going to be
playing that game again.
It's going to be either it's one of two guys. It's either going to be Haas or it's going to be Jesus Rodriguez. I think Jesus Rodriguez, look, come on. Buster Posey, what was the main reason why he got rid of well, I shouldn't say the main reason. What was one of the main reasons why he got rid of Buster Posey? Because there was a report. He hated the way that he was framing. He wanted him to be able to be a better receiver, right? And to call games. I guarantee you, Buster Posey watching Jesus behind the plate tonight went, oh, hell no. We can't be having. I mean, he had pass balls. He couldn't throw out guys. I mean, it was just he dropped a called strike 3.
Yeah, but what do you mean he couldn't throw guys out? I thought there was only one.
No, they stole like 4 bases on him.
Did they? Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Here, hold on. Now I got rid of it. I think they stole like 4 bases. And one of them being Freddie Freeman, who the guy has the knees of a freaking 80-year-old.
Yeah, but he can't always play the catcher either.
Yeah, but it was. He got a huge jump or a bad jump, and he still
riddle me this, Eric. Teams that steal bases on you, that means they're actually running.
Yeah. Well,
hello,
I think
Giants.
Hey, and I think what's going on, and I think the word is out. We can run on Jesus, and that's going to be a problem going forward because other teams are watching this. They got advanced scouts, right? Let's not forget
9 steals in 3 games.
Advanced scouts will watch this. I guarantee you the A's advanced scouts are watching the Giants against the Dodgers, and they're going to say, we can run on this son of a gun.
It must be a short write-up, though, a 2-pager. Yeah. They can't hit. They can't run. Don't worry about that. Like, so it's not a whole lot to worry about, Eric. And you brought it up many a time in the last 2 to 3 weeks. We go against a pitcher with a 9 ERA. Don't matter. We go against a guy who, Bubba Chandler. Jesus, he can't beat Bubba.
Told you.
I'm telling you. We make other teams look good. Yeah. And the problem is because of the makeup of this ball team. You know what? It'll take a lot. You also said something interesting, Eric, the other day. And it kind of plays into the way this team is made up. You said that you have respect for a guy who owns it.
Yes, I do.
Would the Giants please say, okay, we're going to try to restructure we've made a mistake. We've made a mistake. Signing guys like Willy Adames was an MVP? Oh my God. This is crazy. You sign a guy and pay him the biggest contract in team history, and what are you getting?
You know what?
I'm signing a guy for a 6-year extension, and what are you getting?
Hey, if you guys want to just, again, your eyes are not going to fool you. If there is going to be a trade, right? We'll see. Well, it's hypothetical because we don't know. But if there is going to be some trades, well, first off, it's going to be the guys on expiring contracts, right? We all know that. Ray, Arias, those guys are going to be hot commodities. As far as changing one of the big contracts, the one guy who it may be Chapman.
If they can talk him into it.
The reason why
it doesn't look like he wants to be there, does he, Eric?
Well, the way it looks, I mean,
optics.
Because remember what they said, they're going to start giving some of these guys some time off. Well, who's the only guy that's had time off? Twice. And that's been Matt Chapman. Again, just watch what's happening before your eyes. It will tell you. You don't have to do a whole hell of a lot of guessing. If you just watch the decisions that are being made, who are the guys that are being rested, I would look at maybe they may move. And I'm saying it's going to, because it's much more difficult than that, because as I stated, as you got the no trade involved, he could be a guy that may be getting shopped. I don't know. What
there's not much else to do. There's not much to deal. Not much to deal. If you trade for Chapman right now, you're going to pull a Giants. You're going to go, well, maybe we can milk a little something out of this guy because he sure don't have it now. And people were talking, including us, talking about Jung-Hoo Lee. What's Jung-Hoo Lee's trade value? What's he like? I don't think any teams are lining up. Oh, we must have a Jung-Hoo Lee. We must. I think other teams have their Jung-Hoo Lees.
Maybe.
There's no dominance to trade on this team unless you deal the big guys.
And I think, look, you're not going to get Chapman. I think is going to be the one guy. I think he may be the guy.
I don't think he gets you much, though. Do you?
Look at Bailey.
Because people are going to.
I don't know. Look at Bailey.
But they're going to eat the contract.
But that's the problem.
Bailey had no contract.
There you go. See, Glenn, because what's it all come down to? All comes down to money. It sucks. Look, but that's the way baseball is. It comes down to money. So, yes, Glenn, it may come down to, hey, we may have to eat money, but
move on.
Maybe.
Like I said, Buster says we made a mistake. Let's play Schmidt at third.
Yeah, and they may wind up doing that. That very well may be in the cards.
And if he can unload his contract, gives you more money. Just don't spend it all at one place. Take Charles Ingalls would tell you, don't spend the money.
But here's another thing. Here's another thing you got to take in consideration too, right? So if another team, hypothetically, say the Giants trade Chapman, you can't even say what's going to happen next year. That's a problem. Because if there's a lockout next year, which everyone predicts that it's going to happen, do they even want to go down that road of trading since next year is going to be a wash? And then guess what? If again, hypothetical, if the entire season is wiped out, now you just lost a year of Matt Chapman. So how much more valuable is he going to be now that he, instead of being 33 starting next year, he's going to be 34 because the season's wiped out?
Yeah. So that's at the end of the day, who cares? You already got a Schmidt who can play.
It's going to be a mess. Yeah.
You already got a guy. So.
And that's a good problem to have for the Giants, because look, you already have that position, quote unquote, filled with someone like Casey Schmidt.
I think the term tonight, did you see he struck out, took the third pitch, game was over. He walked away. His play, his demeanor, he just looks uninvested.
And look, I don't know what has happened, because all three Devers is now starting to hit. Even Adames is starting to hit. But remember Chapman? The guy was batting. Remember I said that he's batting 270. And then all of a sudden, straight into the toilet, man.
They are who we thought they were. Plus, you know what? At the end of the day, too, Adames, Eric, he has a little marketability too. The whole Gatorade thing, they market him. He does, things with the kids, and he showed up at the preseason things. But you can market. Chapman is just. I think Chapman just shows up and goes home, and he doesn't smile. And I mean, he's not Mr. Personality.
He's stoic. He's very stoic.
Yes, indeed. You put a military unit. He looks military. The haircut, he looks very military school, doesn't he?
He does. Now, again, that's just from what we see on camera. We have no idea what he's like in the clubhouse. He could be a fantastic guy in the clubhouse. And I don't have any idea. And look, and the criticisms that I'm having has nothing to do with the man. It just has to do with the performance on the field, right? And that's
he didn't contribute at the Rogers Center. In that dome stadium, that would have been my first concern. Picking up a guy like that who couldn't hit in that stadium half a season. I think he had to play. There's more than Eric. It's like the Devers deal. There's more than just, oh my God, we got a guy who can hit 50 home runs. You gotta, there's a lot of factors involved. And when I look at Chapman's stats, the guy does not have big career numbers. And then you put him in a prime location, like a dome stadium in Toronto, and he really didn't contribute. And then we must have Matt Chapman. Like, come on. And I think that had a lot to do with the managerial situation. There were a lot of, stop playing, guys. Stop playing their feelings and their egos. Just play me the best team, but the best team on the field. Lou, I don't think they're doing that on a consistent basis this year.
Go for it, Lou. I'm going to warm up my coffee.
Sitting too many guys.
Let me tell you a few scenarios. First of all, if we're going to get rid of Chapman, we're going to have to throw somebody with him, because nobody's going to take Chapman, guy batting 240, and his defense. I'm sorry, in the contract. So they're going to have to start thinking of maybe doing guys together. And what I mean by that, you're going to trade Chapman and maybe Webb together, or Chapman and maybe a good arm like Killian and Wynn. You're going to have to give up more, because nobody. And first of all, will you guys in the chat get your head out of your ass and stop thinking we have a good team? Robert, I'm going to say this one time. Okay. Our starting pitchers, Webb and Ray, are 6-10. One has an ERA of 5.10. The other one is 3.05. Okay. In their 18 starts, the Giants have 6 wins. They're 6-12. This team's going nowhere. In fact, I don't want you to even say we're even playoff bound until we're 500, which I told you we will not be 500 the whole entire year. So come on. You criticize us for being negative off of a win. Now they showed the true colors, and you still think we're going to do it. You guys, the Giants are stuck. I've been telling you this for 3 weeks. I'm hoping we can get rid of one contract. We're not going to get rid of all 3. One. And the best thing that can happen to the Giants, knock on wood, is somebody on another team that's in contention has their star get hurt. Because out of desperation, they're going to reach out to the Giants. That's the only way we're going to get rid of these. Okay? I agree. Chapman, here's the thing. Chapman mentally isn't in it. He's just sort of, as Glenn says, earning a paycheck. The problem is, if we get rid of him, we're depending on someone like Casey, who's doing well, but he's never made it the last 2 years, a whole season without getting injured. So it's one of those things. Now, the injury was not affecting Webb. Come on. So he pitched with the injury? That's why he's 3-5 with an ERA? Come on. Robert, I know you're a fan, but you got to stop. You're being like KMBR, old KMBR. You're blaming everything but the facts. Webb is not an ace. I know he's an ace in your mind. He's not. Ray's not an ace. I know in your mind he's not. But these guys, and I keep trying to tell you, Webb, his arm is not the same. That's what happens when you pitch 206 innings and 204. Okay? I'm sorry, but these arms are only so far. The other thing is, if you're going to trade someone like Chapman, you got to give something else up, because if you just say you want Chapman and they take half the contract, you're going to get a guy that'll never make it to the majors. You won't get a major leaguer. All you're doing is sacrificing half the contract. The Giants won't do that. Now, if you throw somebody in like a Wynn or maybe Ray at the same time and get rid of 2 of them, then you're okay. You got to include something with Ray, because Ray's not going to be here next year. He's a free agent. And that's what Eric keeps trying to talk about. You got to get these expiring contracts. So you got to think an expiring contract and maybe a big contract and somebody in the minors. The only guys that should not be able to be traded are the young guys that Eric spoke about. And
Eric, you know what?
Or
the ACL, yeah.
Everybody else should be gone. Yeah.
Eric,
and those
do you
guys
remember
are 5 years away?
Before we embarked on this show, I did a show with you somewhere else down the line 2 years ago. And I don't know if you remember this. The night we went long and heated about Webb and what we do with Webb. And that was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I know.
That was 3 of us on that night. And the other party claimed that he's an ace, he's an ace, he's an ace. I said, the problem is he's our ace. But I said, he's not a number 1 pitcher on half the teams in baseball is the problem. And I think people realize that, but again, it's our fan base. And I think they realize the fact that these are the moves we have to make, but they are so invested. They're playing, I bought a jersey. You can't trade them. You gotta you can't have a love affair. Lou, you said it before.
Yeah.
The team and the fan base have too much of a love affair with their players, and you're just not going to be a winning product if you keep, I want my favorite. I was the first to say last year, so if we can move Wilmer Flores, because you probably won't bring him back, maybe you get a team at the playoffs wants Wilmer. They didn't move him. There was an opportunity, I think. You have to pick your spots, and holding on to players for just the sheer, the love affair with them, it's got to stop.
Yeah. And, the one thing I do want to point out, Robert, I know Webb is 29, but he's been pitching for the Giants for 12 years. So he doesn't have an arm of a 29-year-old. He's probably got more of an arm in all these innings, about a 33-year-old, 32. He's made, if you look at his stats, he's pitched that long in the organization. So stop using he's 29 like he's young. When you're a pitcher, it's different. It's how many innings have gone through that arm. It's one of those things. I'm sorry. It's different, and again, the last couple of years, his Webb, even though the Giants were going nowhere, he wanted to pitch 200 innings. That was his goal. But I think it's just caught up with him. It's not the injury. I know the injury happened after the fact, maybe his last start, but he hasn't been effective the whole season. Unless you tell me he's been injured the whole season, then I'll give that to you. But if not, that's just an excuse. But I just want to make sure people know that.
Eric, look, I thought of this last night after the show. Again, another problem with our fans. Robert says, please explain how this team is better without Webb and Ray. The problem with Robert and other fans of our team is it's about win today, win now, win today. When this has been a losing team for 11 years, guys, 11 years of shit, 11 years of sub 500 baseball. But we're going to be worse. You look to the future. It's not about today. If you want to win, you got to get rid of these guys and look to the future. If you keep these guys, hey, and you like your 75 wins or 80 wins, have at it. You got to stop with, how does that doesn't make us better tomorrow's game against the No, you've got to lose before you win. And if you want to win, lose, then you're 500. You've got to pay the price for a future, Eric. And this fan base does not recognize that that sums it up right there. How is this team better without Webb and Ray? How's it better? You're going to go and you're going to get prospects. You're going to get draft picks. You're going to get money. You're going to get whatever that you can invest in a winning product. And it's still happening. They stop texting me. Is that Robert? Are you texting? Jesus. Every time I get crusty, the phone, beep, beep, beep. Jesus. I'm shutting it off.
Speaking of it, hey, guys, let's take a small break and then we'll come back.
Come on, man.
You already alluded to it, Glenn. Let's talk a little Bryce Eldridge. All right, let's talk a little Bryce Eldridge. So let's do it right when we come back and hear from our friends at Tommy's. There's our good friends, Tommy's Mexican restaurant, where you could go get some great food and some great drink. Hey, and to add on top of that, Lou, some great company, because those people over there at Tommy's Mexican are awesome people, telling you. No doubt about it. And Jay Case, if you're out there, don't forget, you gotta hook up with a Lou, and you guys could go have a good time over at Tommy's Mexican. Watch the Giants game, enjoy some Mexican food, and put down some adult beverages. There you go. All right, let's talk a little bit.
Eric, can you talk about the super chat from 805?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it right now.
Okay,
before
sorry.
getting
I apologize.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I was gonna see that. I want to make sure I get to it. It kind of segues a little bit into what we're gonna talk about. The other super chat, we'll get to it a little bit. That's gonna be more about you than it is gonna be about me, because I know you saw a lot of games at Candlestick. We'll get to that here in a bit. All right, here we go. 9Ks between Adames, Devers, Chapman, and Eldridge. All right, yeah, Devers did have 2 hits. Adames, I think, had a hit. Chapman had a hit. Eldridge had no hits. But let's talk about young Bryce. I mean, it's a very, very, very small sample size. But what I want to just caution, and gosh, I don't want to – it seems like we talk about this every day, Lou. Just caution is what are our expectations? Now, if you're expecting him to be some Connor freaking – what's his name from Pittsburgh that we saw in the young shortstop for the Pirates, right? 20 years old. He's out there killing it. You got J.J. Weatherholt for the St. Louis Cardinals, who's killing it. Detroit Tigers, that got McConaughey. He's killing it. You got a lot of young guys out there. that are actually doing it at the big league level. Connor Griffin, thank you, D-Shot. Bryce Eldridge, who's been hyped been hyped. He really hasn't done it. I'm just gonna say, hey, I mean, compared to those other guys, Bryce Eldridge isn't close to what these other guys are. Now, does he have a different set of tools? Yeah, I guess. Bolte, yeah. I mean, he's just not those guys, and and that's why it's not fair to put undue pressure on the guy. I think you said it yesterday, Lou. Let Eldridge be Eldridge, and then see what we got. Maybe it plays in the big league levels. Maybe it doesn't. We don't know. But one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to come on here and say, rah, rah. I'm not going to do that, because you know why? I did that in the past, and you know what it got me? Nothing. It got me nothing. Not because I was disappointed that I was wrong, not by any stretch of the imagination. It had to do that, hey, I'm not going to get hyped with someone until they actually come and show it. That's just the way I'm going to take it from now on, because I'm tired. I heard Kyle Crick was going to be a guy. I heard Tyler Beatty was going to be a guy. Gary Brown was supposed to be a guy. Christian Arroyo was supposed to be a guy. Bryce Eldridge is being talked about being a guy. We don't know. If he makes it, awesome. Good for him. If he doesn't, well, hey, it's just more times than not, right, Lou, is you don't succeed. That's why baseball is so damn hard. This isn't MLB The Show. You can't improve your guy by getting new shin guards and batting gloves and a bat. It doesn't make you better. I'm sorry, it doesn't. You have a certain amount of skills within your body. You can learn. Some guys are better at learning than others and making those adjustments. Some can't. So let's just see what happens. Again, struck out 3 times today. And I guess you could, if we want to analyze anything, Lou, I guess you could say the type of strikeouts, right?
Yeah, 2 of them were bad. I just think he was like, we're not saying he doesn't belong in the show. He's just showing how different AAA pitching is compared to the pros.
Oh,
because it's night and day. And I keep trying to do this where you guys keep thinking I'm wrong. In AAA, I heard a guy, and then I'll bring up what the GM said, Glenn's thing. He says on every staff in AAA, there's one guy that can maybe pitch in the show. The other 14 are either AA pitchers or just trying to survive. That's how it is, because it's a job. Okay. When you come to the pros and you're a pitcher, and I'll use Tristan Beck as an example. He has struggled with us, right? But he'll be really good. Sometimes he won't. But he's in pitching. He's one of the top 0.5% in the whole entire world playing Major League Ball. These guys are great at what they do.
Yes.
Hitting different. That's why they always say good pitching will take care of good hitting. It's a big difference, especially in the major leagues. That's why when you're a batter, you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're a superstar. Most people fail 8 out of 10. The thing with Eldridge is, for some reason, you guys got caught in the Eldridge juice, sort of like some of us with the Buster juice.
Yeah,
you guys kept hearing how great this guy was. Again, AAA, some of these places where you play in AAA, you're in the altitude. The ball flies more, And I think it's one of those things where Eldridge, I'd rather he stay up here and try to do it. And then you guys finally see how hard it is. Baseball is the hardest sport in the world. Okay, let me repeat that. Football is easier than baseball. You have guys tonight through 7 different pitches. In AAA, they probably have 2, and they're both decent. Shohei had 7 that obviously are working. But the strikeouts, he's not fouling off with 2 strikes. I mean, he'll probably get 1 pitch. He fouls it off. The other ones, he's missing by a foot. And they weren't close. And what's happening, here's the other difference. And Eric brings this up a lot. The fastball in AAA probably goes 92 miles an hour, tops. When you're in the pros, it's 96. The changeups are like 75. They're so unique and so different that when you get somebody that has pinpoint accuracy and can throw 5 miles an hour faster, that ball looks like it's 20 miles an hour faster. And that's why Eldridge is having such a tough time. You know, like tonight, he struck out on one pitch where it was above his shoulders because he's guessing. You know, in AAA, you only have to guess 2 pitches. But in the pros, they have 4. So I think with Eldridge, what I would personally do if I was Tony B, I would never bat him 4th or 5th. It's the same problem with Chapman. Too much pressure. He should be batting like 7th or 8th, where there's less pressure situations, and let the guy get his confidence. You know, I think that's what needs to be done. But as is Eldridge himself, it's just so different. You guys, it's the same thing. AAA is like spring training. Okay. We all talk, oh my God, people are batting 500 in spring training. Okay. Well, the games don't mean anything because most of the time you're pitching against someone that you'll never see the rest of the time. But in the pros, they are the best of the best. And you're seeing that. Eldridge, I'm not saying he's not prepared. He's just sort of overwhelmed. And Eric, tonight was the first time I've sort of seen him on his 3rd strikeout. He put his head down like almost he's judging do I really belong? And that's where the player can turn. You can get a player to turn worse. I mean, obviously he deserves chances, but, you know, we got to start doing small things with him. Instead of a nice line drive, how about, hey, he got 1 for 3 and didn't strike out. Hey, he went 1 for 1 with 2 walks. Because there's other ways to reward yourself and to help the team. Right now, he's not helping the team. You know, and it's just he's taking 2 steps back and not 1 step forward. And we need to do something because I think we need Eldridge if we want to become 500. I mean, don't you think, Eric? I mean, that's sort of the analogy I see.
Yeah.
You know, but also you got to play him as much as possible. And then getting to Glenn's, this is a GM that doesn't even play for us. And he sees it. That's what scares me the most, right? Other guys, former GMs, see it. And that's why we always question Manaeus and Buster. Do they really know it? And was this more of a desperate move? You know, you brought up the catcher situation. Did they think about it? Oh, my God, our defense is going to be really lacking, but we need offense. Now we have 3 catchers. What are we going to do with Susak? You know, and that's why baseball is year-round. You know, if you saw Brad Pitt in the movie, they showed him when the season hadn't even started yet. You know, they're trying to figure it out. And I think what's happening with the Giants is they're learning on the job and they're going, all right, for this month, we're going to do this. They don't really care about June or July. Once you're in July, okay, now we got to start thinking the trade deadline. But there's other people that are already thinking, all right, you know, if we are within 5 games, we need certain players. Let's start looking for them now. And, you know, the thing with the Giants, our team is so mediocre. It's hard to look to the future. We got to just do right now and give Eldridge the best chance for Eldridge. You know, and I used that line last night, Eric, because we think he could have ability, but we can't have a whole 2 months of him playing mediocre, you know, playing every 3rd game, not getting his at-bats. And in 2 months, the guy's batting 120 with 30 strikeouts. I mean, it's not going to do good for the Giants, not going to do good for Eldridge and his future. So I'll go back to you.
Yep. I'm gonna get to this. There's a couple of guys I want to get to before I get to that last super chat. Or actually, there's another one that came in. Says Lou, this is a bad take. You have, let me finish this. Hold on. You have to give Eldridge a full season before you say he's a bust. It's not fair to give him a month and call him a bust. No one's calling him a bust. Rebuild. No one's calling him a bust. We're just identifying that. Or look, right now, we don't know what he's going to be. That's the whole issue here. We don't know. I don't think Lou has never come out here and said that Eldridge is going to be a bust. We're just saying that it's not easy to play in the big leagues, and we don't know. He could be something. He may not be something. It's too early to tell. That's what we're trying to say. I'm not going to fall for the hype saying this guy is the savior for the San Francisco Giants, that he's going to be a guy that's going to come in and put up all-star to Hall of Fame numbers. No one can say that right now. They just can't. We want the best for him. We want to see him succeed, but you just can't sit there and say, this guy is without a doubt going to be the man who's going to lead us to the promised land. That's ridiculous. It just is.
And I think a lot of guys in the chat forget he was up last year for 30 at-bats, and he struck out 14 times.
Yeah.
So he's been up there. And again, that was last year, a cup of coffee, but it's the same way right now. So we just need to see.
And look,
baby
and
steps.
it may take a whole season. Senior said at every level, he's only 21. He's still young. He had an adjustment period and he goes off. We'll see if he could do it at the MLB level. He needs a position and play consistently. And there you go. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Hey, Red Build. And we never said that he's a bust. I never said that you said he's going to be an all-star. I'm just saying that there's people out there that think he's going to be the next coming of some damn all-star. It just is. That people do that. But we didn't sit there and say he's going to be a bust. No one said he's going to be a bust. No one. But no, to what the senior's saying, especially that last sentence, he needs a position and play consistently. And there you go. So what is the organization doing? Someone answer me that question. So what is going on? Why are they treating, I want to say they're not treating him badly. That's the one word to use. They're not using him effectively. Why would you bring this kid up and not play him almost all the time? That part I don't understand. And look, it is a roster problem. There's no doubt about it. Look, Devers is going nowhere right now. So he is not going to be getting a majority of reps at first base. It's not going to happen. It just isn't. DH, that's the only place where he could be. Well, then that opens another can of worms. What do you do with Casey Schmidt? Because you don't want to take Casey Schmidt out of the lineup. But where are you going to get him those at-bats? Are you going to sit Chapman most of the time? Are you going to sit Adames some of the time? So again, it's a mess right now with the Giants roster, because if you want to get Bryce Eldridge playing time, you're going to have to sit other guys that you necessarily don't want to sit, with the exception, if you want to say, with maybe Matt Chapman, considering just the way that he's been playing. So right now, it's not an ideal situation for the Giants in trying to get Eldridge playing time. Whether you agree or disagree, that's the facts of him. And honestly, I'd rather see him in Sacramento getting every day at bats than just sitting on the bench with the San Francisco Giants, because that's not going to do anything. How do you build a rhythm? Right, Lou? Because how many times have you seen that with baseball? It's like, you got to get that rhythm. You got to get that repetition to start feeling it. That's why in the beginning of the season, you want to get at least 40 at-bats in before you start seeing what this guy can do. And look, and he's not getting that. It's a mess right now with what the Giants are doing. And how are they going to solve that, man? I have no idea. And hey, it is what it is. You can love it. You could hate it. You could be in between, but that's just the way it is. And I don't have the answers. I don't think anyone has the answers. We can sit here and talk about it. And then Alive says the Giants always mishandle prospects. Yeah, there's no lie, because we've seen it. We've seen it with Matos. We've seen it with Luciano. I mean, it sucks, man. It sucks. All right, let me get to some of these super chats. Rob donated $6. What is up, Rob? Thanks, buddy. I fear the same thing with Bo Davidson when he gets promoted to Sacramento. Again, he's worried, talking about the mishandling of prospects, that he gets called up too soon, and then you wind up misplaying him, so to speak, when he needs maybe a little bit more time. I hear what you're saying, Rob. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to see. Hey, Joe Schmo, right on, man. What'd you think, Joe? Talk to me, man. What'd you think of it? What'd you think of it, man? Talk to me. Talk to me, man. I'll give you a salute too there, Joe. Right on. All right. Yeah, I'll watch for you in the chat there. Let's bring up this super chat. He brought this up quite a while ago. 805 Chargers. Do you guys miss Candlestick? Never went. Well, there you go. Lou, you went to Candlestick many a time. Do you miss Candlestick at all? Thanks for the $2.
I think Candlestick was for the real Giants fans. And what I mean by that is they average, I'd say, about 11,000 fans. The place held 64,000. So when we talk about Oracle saying there's no way they had 30, there was no way sometimes they didn't have 11. The thing about Candlestick, it was built really, it was the Niners and the Giants. But even though people hated it, I loved it because it was my Candlestick. You know, in San Francisco, you could take the Ballpark Express. It was 50 cents round trip. It was a quarter to go to the game, quarter to come back. Where my seats are now, I had basically the same, right front row in the third base dugout. And back then, the Giants were in the first base, so we had the visiting team. And what I liked about that is you saw a different team every 3 days. And, you know, I knew the bat boy there who actually became a pitcher at U of A year ahead of me, named Spanky, a guy named Kevin. Great guy. Got to know him. But Candlestick, I was very fortunate. I was there for the playoff games against St. Louis when the Hackman got MVP for a losing team. I was there when Bonds hit his first homer opening day. Does anybody remember who they were playing, by the way? Bond's first game at Candlestick. Do anyone remember who they played in the opener?
See. Come on, guys. What was the first team that Barry Bonds went against as a San Francisco Giant? Look, they're all Googling it. They're Googling it, man.
Yeah, it could be tough to find.
You can't see
and
it's
I want
so
the correct
easy now,
name.
man.
The other thing, too, is I was there for probably one of the craziest doubleheaders ever, Giant Dodgers. When Steve Sachs had a problem, he couldn't throw to first base, and he had a big problem.
He had the yips. He
had the yips, but he also had a problem with the white stuff. And the fans were crazy. You thought Niner fans were nuts? When it was Giant Dodgers, I mean, it was nuts. There were fights all over the place. The bleachers were nuts. I thought one of the best things about there is when you were at Candlestick, you knew the grown players. You know, like one of my favorite players growing up was a guy named Darrell Evans. He played third and first.
Howdy doody.
You know, I was there when Will Clark, his rookie year, Robbie Thompson. I remember Matt Williams. People wanted to get rid of him because he couldn't hit a slider. He could not hit a slider for his life, depending on it. But you know, like usual, by his third, fourth year, the guy's now a Hall of Famer, and he'll admit that. But I thought, you know, I was there, 64,000. And when Will Clark got the base hit out the wild thing, it was the loudest thing I'd ever been in my life. 64,000 people screaming. I was also there for the earthquake, which, as you know, would have been game 3 of the World Series.
Yep.
And I know people won't admit this. I was there. If they had power, they would have played the game.
Wow.
There was no power. They would have played because people didn't realize Candlestick was built on concrete. So it was probably the safest place of the whole entire Bay Area. If you watch the old videos, I don't know if you guys remember Walkmans. Well, they also had a thing called the Watchman. And it was probably out. And I'll never forget, I was with my dad at the World Series. The commissioner, Bobby Vincent, was in front of us. I go, the Bay Bridge fell. And they go, Lou, you're nuts. What do you mean the Bay Bridge fell? I go, from the earthquake. And the commissioner actually took it and said, oh, my God. And we had no power. So if you remember in the World Series, the A's were in third base. They were getting out of the dugout because people were scared of aftershocks. But if they would have had power, they would have played. And it was more of a safety thing. But it was.
I'll never forget that. Hey.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because
yeah.
I grew up in Tracy, so we didn't go to San Francisco very often. Back in the day when I was a kid, we hardly ever went to the city. But I remember watching on TV, and I'll never forget, man. I'm sitting there watching the game, getting ready, all the pre-game stuff.
5:02 is when it hit.
Yep. And all of a sudden, the screen started going crazy, and we got something going on. I think it's over. And literally within seconds, I start feeling it. And I'm sitting in our living room, right? Because we had this big giant pillow that I would lay on watching TV. And I get up and it felt like the ground was liquid, right? It was just rolling. And I'm like, holy. So I go outside and my mom, she was at the sink. She was getting dinner ready. The counter was hitting her. she was calling for my dad. My dad was outside with our neighbor. And I go outside, and my neighbor's car, the front of the car was bouncing.
Yeah.
It was bouncing on my car, and it just lasted forever. I'm like, this is the craziest earthquake I've ever felt in my life. And then, of course, the rest of the
all hell broke
after
loose.
effect of I know, the 880 pancake. It was a mess.
The one thing about Candlestick, it's very sad to be not there, but I was very fortunate. I was at the catch with Joe Montana, Dwight Clark. I was there.
Wow. Damn, Lou.
That was pretty big. And then my younger brother, who was actually really good in baseball, he used to work out. I don't know if you remember, Eric, Terry Whitfield, where he was a lefty and his right foot would go sort of like Jesus Rodriguez. Bats
yeah.
And he used to go with a guy named Jim Lefevre. And my brother was so good as a freshman in high school, he used to work out with them. So I'd pick him up. And, he would be, there'd be Terry Whitfield, Hackman. And my dad just happened to have a friend who was friends with Jim Lefevre saying, hey, this kid's got a chance. But, overall, Candlestick, it's sort of like how we think about Bonds. He was our Bonds. But everybody outside of it thought Bonds cheated and they hated him. Candlestick, was our park. So we didn't really know anything better. But it was still, it was magical. There was nothing better when it was sold out. Probably one of the greatest things ever was against the Dodgers. Don Sutton on a 2-0 pitch. A guy named Mike Ivy, who we got in a trade from Pittsburgh, hit a grand slam. And Lon Simmons went completely ballistic. And the great thing about Candlestick games is when you got home after the game, they would play Giants highlights from the game.
Right.
So you actually had a cassette, and I'd have to record it from the radio. I don't know if the cat actually knows what a cassette recorder is.
A cassette recorder? What is that?
Yeah, so that's how we used to do it. And it was,
awesome.
Candlestick was great. The other thing, too, big trademark is carnation malts, where they gave you a little spoon, and they were chocolate malts were really good. And the mother's cookies were like this big. And, you had a hot dog with sauerkraut, where you would actually put the sauerkraut on there and everything was good. And then they sold booze in the stands. People don't realize until 3 years ago, you always had to go up to get alcohol. They used to sell alcohol. The guy would have a beer, a whole case of beer around his neck, and he would go, hey, you need a beer? And they came in these real cool cups. Our person was Steven something. So they were brown cups with all these ball players on it. And you would sit there and you get a beer, and the beers were expensive. We complain now, but back then they were probably like $7.25 for a beer. And you go, my God, I can get a 6-pack for $3. But that's how it was. And, Candlestick was just a fun time. Plus it was our park. So, I enjoyed it many times. And the other great thing they did is when I first went, I know the chat probably doesn't know what this is, but they played on AstroTurf.
Which was for a couple of years.
For a couple of years. And then they went to grass.
Gnarly.
So, beer here. Anybody want a beer? I mean, it was pretty fun.
Ice cold beer here.
But I think really the malts were the big thing, especially being a kid. And last but not least, their giveaways were very unique. So they would do like probably 10 giveaways a year, but Bat Day was the biggest, where they actually gave you a real bat.
Oh, I remember the mini bats. They would give away the mini bats.
A real bat, and they were black. It was unbelievable. And again, it would just say San Francisco Giants didn't have a players thing, but the bats were cool. And, back then it was still great because I was very lucky enough where I went to a lot of games with my dad. We went to a lot of opening days, and Candlestick was just one of those things. And Eric, there's a guy, one of Glenn's buddies. I used to always bring my scorebook too. That was me. I'd always have my little scorebook. And that's sort of how I got to learn the game. And really, that's sort of how I really understood mathematics, because batting average was big. You would always get home and check the average, see if the Giants, had somebody in the top 20 or were even mentioned. And it was just, a good time of life. It was the stick, gave me a lot of thrills. And that's sort of how it was growing up.
Nice. There you go. A little trip down memory lane. All right. Just real quick before you get out of here. Tomorrow, Landon Roop was going to go for the Giants, and Emmett Sheehan Emmett Sheehan is sporting a 4.7 ERA. So maybe with the Giants coming alive a little bit, maybe they can do some damage and actually take the series. That'd be huge, right? 3 games out of 4 in LA. I can dig that. I could dig that. So let's see what happens again tomorrow, guys. Another 7:10 start down in Southern California. We'll be on here right around 10 o'clock again, and then they leave and they come back up north. They're going to be about 45 minutes down the road from me. The Giants will be taking on the Athletics for a 3-game set over there. So should be a lot of fun.
And Eric, one more thing about the Candlestick. First of all, the late, great Peter McGowan, who's no longer with us, saved the Giants. Yep. They were actually going to be going to Tampa Bay, is one thing I didn't bring up. The other thing was whenever there was a home run to left field, they used to have probably, say the crowd had 11,000 people. There would be
10,000 over there
in the bleachers. Whenever there was a homer, it was a free-for-all. I mean, it was the most unbelievable thing you've ever seen because the bleachers, which were designed for football, were still probably 20 yards away. And then you had the fence. So when the ball would go out, it was a free-for-all. And then, of course, last but not least, the quad to Candlestick. I came, I saw, I survived the night games because it was so cold.
Exactly. There's the Croy. Yep. There you go. Right on. Hey, thanks for the memories, Lou. Guys, we'll be back here tomorrow night, do it all over again. And let's see if the Giants can go out there and pull out the series, get that win tomorrow. Again, 7:10 starts. And let's see what happens. Landon Roop, again, that's the Giants ace. So let's see if they could do some damage against Emmett Sheehan. Oh, and you know what? Hey, another thing, we talked about it, me and you talked about it yesterday. Whether or not Shohei Ohtani was going to start or be in the lineup, he was not in the lineup.
Yeah, hitting.
Yeah, he was not in the lineup. I think Dave Roberts said he might take another day. He might not be in there tomorrow as well. So we'll see. We'll see how that all works out. So we know one thing: he can still freaking pitch. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll be back here tomorrow night and do it all over again. All right, guys, take care. See ya. Oh, real quick before that, don't want to forget here. Thanks to JB805 who brought up the super chat talking about Candlestick, and then Rob is always in here donating, and we appreciate you guys with your donations. All right, again, see you guys tomorrow night. See ya.
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.